and find something you're passionate about besides Ziggy.
Hello, hello. Waiting for some people to get in here while we discuss this possible sighting. Hey, Dara. Hey, Carrie. Ooh la la. Flip flop. What the actual? Right? I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, it's definitely an area that makes sense, I guess. Right? And I mean, are there any updates? Not that I've heard of, but I'm trying. That's why I didn't go live. Well, actually, I had some things going on here. I didn't wake up till, of course, like late afternoon time because I didn't go to sleep till this morning. And then I saw I had a text from somebody about a sighting. Oh, yeah, it's Julie Applewhite. A sighting of summer in Arkansas. A source is just from a post in a Facebook group, it looks like. I don't know if anybody mentioned where this Fairview Motel. Hold on, let me show this comment. People kept thinking, so did we decide a Fairview Motel was just a wrong wording? Because I've noticed people are looking into what is it called? Fairfield, which is a more expensive hotel that has it's owned by Marriott, and it's just, I don't know. Is there such thing as a Fairview Motel though in that area? Because when somebody says motel, Fairview Inn and Suites. Okay, this has to be it. I wonder who, when Cher called the place, I would think this is more like the place that we're oh, I'm sure it's already got to TBI, guys. It's already, no need to, please don't call law enforcement or anything. They've been called a million times about this. No, I just saw Cher pull up Fairfield in a suite, which is a more expensive place. I would think this would be more like it. Is this the place that Cher called, or did she call? This makes sense. This is more like what I would expect to be when she said motel, there is a pool there. It's a pretty nice pool. 'Cause Weird setup, though. Looks like a jail almost. Fairview. Yeah, I would guess this is probably I would guess this over the Fairfield Inn and Suites because, I mean, I don't know. It just seems more likely. Let's see. Will you please ask Liplock if she really watched and listened to the live she shared a little bit ago? It was disgusting and about summer. I can't believe she shared it. Oh, which live is that, Lisa? And who was the person? Whose channel is it? Right. Maybe this is where Candace has gone. Right. There was rumors that that's where Candace was in Arkansas. I just heard that rumor recently. She called Fairview Inn. Okay, because on the screen she had the Fairfield Marriott Fairfield suites up, and I was just making sure. Right off of I-555, and all entrances to the room were from the outside. That's inside. That's the pool. Not that would be inside, I think. Looks like. Oh, this right here has outside entrances. Or is that just windows? That looks like doors, yeah. Looks like you do enter from the outside. But it looked like though the pool had doors to rooms that were inside though. Okay, right here. Wow. You just found out that people blocked me because I'm your friend. To each their own. All I can say is their loss and respect. What? Who blocked you? Now I'm curious who. When did this happen? I guess it happened yesterday. And it was first put out, I think, by Tiffany and then Cher. Could be bathroom. Covered in mosquito bites. It could indicate not always in a. Who? Remember when Grandis left after Summer disappeared? Was it said that she went to Arkansas? They have connections there. Yep. That's the thing is that Arkansas. It was interesting because the last place I heard, of where Candace is, was Arkansas. But who's to say she's really there now, or maybe she was. Hold on, I have to turn on the light. Last I heard is that Candace was in Arkansas staying with some of Dawn's friends or something. Did anybody else hear that? Who are these friends in Arkansas? I don't know, but when you pull up her background, okay. Says a girl's head was shaved. Yeah, you wouldn't think that they would keep her head shaved because that would that is odd too. What other, you don't see very many girls' heads with their head shaved too. So I don't know. Maybe they did shave her head again. Listen, and I heard it's been 15 months since Summer went missing. They say her hair, if it wasn't cut or anything, it wouldn't. I heard somebody say it'll be super long. No, it wouldn't be super long. It's only been at 15 months. Like I saw somebody saying an inch a month. No, I don't think the hair grows that. I mean, maybe at that age it would, but I'm thinking at most like a half inch a month, right? Which that would be, so maybe her hair was like below her shoulders. Long brown hair. And the other little girl said, "Don't call him dad. He's not your dad. He's mine." Wow. A fourth an inch a month. Right. So it's not even a half inch a month. So that's 3 inches a year. So even saying that her hair would be at her shoulders is probably pushing it. Yeah, I looked up. Pam does look like she ties the area, or there is a Pamela Wells in that area, but I was looking up court records. That's what, otherwise I would have been live much earlier. And in Arkansas, I was looking, and there was some stuff I found on a Pamela Wells, but it did not look like it would be the correct. And didn't look like it could be correct because of the age. It was really confusing. What's her middle name? Let's see, there's one from 2021. I don't know if this probably is not. No, that's definitely not the Pam Wells we. Let's see, 2000. I'm trying to find the most recent record in Arkansas for Pam. She would be, I mean, she's much older than Dawn, like at least like 15 years. And you know what's strange is like, it would, you know what would, that would be crazy if Pam was tied to all this. Nobody's really focused on Pam. We've talked about her a little bit, but why hasn't she came out and talked? Or, you know what I mean? Nobody's heard from Pam, really, that I know of. And she might have been interviewed once. I know that she is supposedly living a rough lifestyle. I don't know, but what, she would be like 70, early 70s. And supposedly we heard rumors that Summer called Pam grandma. Okay. Pamela Anwells, Sonia. Is there a Sandra? Or is there a Sandra? Okay, I'm trying to think. Do they have a sibling named Sandra? There's a Sandra or Sandra. And I don't know if I'm getting that confused with Sonia. But I'm thinking there is a Sandra in that area. Or, well, there was actually. I shouldn't say there. But that's the name. I didn't have a chance to. That's loading. Look, okay. Went down to if you go to Candace's locations, it states what's weird is that she has a lot of acquaintances or people that come up as friends of hers in Oklahoma. I noticed, which is very weird. Haven't heard anything about Oklahoma. Shows that the last time that Candace, I mean, she hasn't been it doesn't look like at all that she's been over at Ben Hill. Mentions until, okay. And then you go down here, May 6, 2022, Fayetteville, Arkansas. How far away is Fayetteville? Because I noticed there's like a lot of addresses in Candace's past for Fayetteville, Arkansas. Here again is Fayetteville. Fayetteville, Rogers. Now this is where she got arrested, and I didn't remember seeing these charges on her background for, is she a felon? I didn't think she was, but when I pulled these up, let's see, this is Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Trying to close that. Intentionally point firearm at person. Resisting or obstructing. Here, let's. Criminal damage to property. battery, domestic abuse. Wow. It was misdemeanor. Disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, misdemeanor. Resisting or obstructing an officer, misdemeanor. Battery. Battery. Looked like her probation was revoked but that's been 19 years ago. Intentionally point firearm at a person. That's a misdemeanor. Possession of drug paraphernalia. Battery. That's the same battery. Criminal damage to property. Okay, and then when you go down these are the ones from Arkansas, and it looks like one of the charges, she had a failure to appear, which says misdemeanor, and I tried finding information on this, and I can't find it. And a contempt of court in Rogers Police Department, Arkansas. Let's say misdemeanors, but right here, Benton, Arkansas, a felony right here. It says for contempt, a felony contempt of court. Failure to appear. It looks like she had 2 failure appears for this offense. So I don't know. I've been spending I spent a bunch of time once I found out about this, just looking into ties to Arkansas. And then I was like, I don't remember seeing those charges from Arkansas on there, but it looks like isn't Gamer Guy Danny's boyfriend? I don't know. I'm reading your guys' comments. Breonna Taylor is the young female that Fred Hill talked about in the interview that was following Andy, knows where Summer is or what happened this summer. That's why they killed Breonna, to keep quiet. Isn't that who I asked him about? I asked Fred about that girl that was recently killed. Was that Breonna Taylor? Is that her name? What? Hold on, let me bring up those screenshots. No. have some screenshots of some questions I asked Fred the other day. I talked to him for the first time in a while, for like in a month. I put them up the other day. Just trying to remember where I saved them at, but I can resend them to my phone to here. But anyways, I was just trying to remember if that's who I asked him about. Does anybody remember? Yeah, it's not Breonna Taylor. I don't think that's the name. What's the girl's name? Taylor? That doesn't sound like the right name. No. That's not her. Breonna, what's the girl's name that was friends with Candace on Facebook that got killed recently? Tester. Okay, yeah, there you go. Tester. Thank you. Yeah, you have a good video about that that I played. It's a part of my interview with Fred that Dazed and Confused has that mentions seeing Andy that day, and that's why I brought that up. It's super important. I had to ask Fred about it again. I mean, just one more chance, one more time to see if possibly he could have mistaken, the days, or if it was possible that somebody else was driving his vehicle, because I started to wonder, could it have been somebody else driving Andy's vehicle? Like, could it have been his son? Could it have been Jody Sue? And then he mentions, a young girl in a car. So 3 vehicles go into the holler, or whatever, however you onto Ben Hill Road. 3 cars go in all the way back by Fred Hills. Very odd. First, a truck, a dark colored truck with out-of-state license plates. Fred doesn't think much about it at that time until he notices, he goes down to his mom's place, which is still way down Ben Hill, and he sees Andy go by or he says something like he goes, he knows it was that day, guys. He says he knows it was 100%. It was Andy, he says, and he knows it was that day because he had to move out of the way to let him by. That's how he knows. Because then he realized that truck hadn't came out. And then there's another vehicle behind Andy that comes soon after, he says a young girl, 18, 19 years old. And then I thought, well, maybe it could be like this tester, because did you guys heard, I'm sure that, Breonna, is that her name? Breonna? Let me make sure. I'm trying to find your video, Dazed and Confused. My computer, okay, here we go. I found it. That's like really, really important. I love how you did this video. And I need those screenshots again. Oh yeah, I believe Fred over Andy any other day of the week too. Like I do. But then when I heard, when Andy started coming out and answering questions, I don't know. This last time, like he was so vague in some responses, and when he said that he did not remember what he was driving that day, I mean, a million freaking red flags went up. I just don't think that's possible. Okay, so her name. I would love Fred to come on here, but I know he's like shy. Spelled Brianna. Okay. What town in Arkansas was she? Died? Andy could have been on camera at work until his usual quitting time, then was seen by Fred. I do not believe half the stuff Andy says, and the other half he can't remember or doesn't know. Right. Okay, so then that's a good point. Like, you just reminded me of something. There's like a rumor going around or talk going around that Andy was on camera all day at work. Do we have any like proof of that, or? Hey, Sheba Mom. Around lunchtime. Hey, Lana. When you text yesterday, I was on the phone with somebody and I didn't respond because I thought maybe I'd be off soon, and then I got distracted and went live, and he was on camera in the hall. That's what Fred says. He said he swears that law enforcement knows that Andy was on that road that day. I don't know though. Really? Scott H said Andy was seen on dash cam. 333 on the West Coast. If he was on camera at work all day, that does not mean, to me anyways, that he is not aware of what went down or participated. No, the reason why that's important to me is because Fred says he saw him on Ben Hill Road that afternoon at very suspicious timing, guys. 3:30 to 6:30, or like 3 to 6:30-ish, that time period. Why does it seem, guys? Oh gosh, guys, this is freaking giving me goosebumps. That 3:30 time period, that time is so freaking important. I know it. I just know it. Think about it. Jody Sue stops texting about 3:30. Fred says he saw Andy on Ben Hill around 3:30. Candace comes home around a little bit before 3:30. 3-ish. About 3. Don goes on his lunch at 3:30 or some type of break at 3:30. Then we have law enforcement. If you go on TBI website, it says that Summer was last seen the afternoon of June. Oh my gosh. Why do I now 14th? Why do I get confused 14th and 15th all of a sudden? How could I ever forget that freaking day? All of a sudden it says right on the TBI website that she was last seen by her mother the afternoon of that day, June 15th. Duh, I can't believe I'd ever just brain fart. That is like really suspicious. Don used to talk about Jonesboro a lot, but that was Jonesboro, Tennessee. Didn't he? Wasn't it Jonesboro, Tennessee? Leaving the hill 2 times. See, I don't. Didn't the boys initially say they saw her at 7? I don't remember anything like that. Why is Jody Sue all up in it? Because she knows. Jonesboro, Tennessee. He was working. Andy said he saw Summer dead body because he was carrying her in his arms to hand her. Oh, geez. Oh, they've all slipped up in the story, Darlene. Or, I'm sorry, Marlene. They have slipped up in the story. They can't keep their story straight. I mean, that's just why, exactly why Dawn was heard saying to Grandis and Candace, you guys need to get your timeline figured out, timeline straight, because they couldn't get it freaking straight because, for one, Candace Sr., Grandma knows she didn't go to the swimming hole that day. But from what I hear, I mean, Candace's mom has recently, I think, been talking to law enforcement, supposedly. I don't know. When I say recently, not like super recently, but Candace is not a happy camper because Grandis didn't stay to the, whole plan. Andy said that was a dream. Then later on, Jody said it was a dream too. Yeah, that's separating herself from the situation, like Andy keeps doing. Like, I was starting to really believe Andy and starting to wonder if it could have been. I really did not want to believe, or it wasn't that so much that I didn't want to believe. Well, I don't want to believe it, but more so, I just didn't believe that Fred was being dishonest intentionally at all. So I was trying to think of scenarios that would make sense that could tie into what Fred was saying, or did he possibly get the days mixed up? He swears like he is so confident that he saw Andy that day. Like he has never. He is so sure. Ask him. He will not say, "Oh, well, maybe." He will not hesitate. He saw Andy 100%. He says it was that day. Let me find my screenshots of my conversation. I could screenshot it again, but I'd rather just. There we go. Found him. Let me save them in my Fred Hill file. Don went to Fred's for some reason. Yeah. Well, he says to law enforcement, "Let me go check the local drug dealer and see what." It's like, okay. This is all out of order. But actually, let's listen to that video that Dazed and Confused put together and clipped of that Fred Hill interview or the conversation we had, because this is a really important part. And then we're going to go over the screenshots. Because I have more recently been wondering, is it possible that Summer is alive? Like, I didn't think so at all. I didn't know. I never, but more so the last couple months, I've been thinking maybe it is a possibility. See what Fred knows. Yeah, probably. Right, Dora? It's horrible. Oh, you're welcome. And Dazed and Confused, everybody should be following Dazed and Confused if you're not already, because clip channels, or the ones that do the shorter videos, are good because you don't have to sit there and sift through hours of videos to find a specific part you need. And he does lives too, but let's watch this real quick, because this is about when I talked to Fred about seeing Andy that day. And I also want to have Andy's interview up when he says that he didn't know what he was driving. And I think it was, who was it Chris McDonough that asked him? It was either Chris McDonough or the lab. And someone very close to the Wells Hazard. I really do believe that they all came up with an elaborate story, and they're all cracking. I think JC and Fred have more truth. You're 99% sure it was Fred that. Now I'm into Lana. And why would Candace randomly be walking around Fred's house according to Fred? That's why, okay, that's an interesting thing you say too, Lana. She says, let's say he saw Andy there. What's the opinion? Why would he be there? Don probably went to implicate Fred, but why would Andy go and why hide it? The part that I want to highlight there is Don probably went to implicate Fred. People keep bringing up the dogs hitting over there at Fred's, like on, you know what I mean? And like near there, there's like this little bridge area right before Fred's. It's like I don't even know if you'd call it really a bridge, but it's like over. It's hard to explain. It's just foot high off the ground, or but right around that area is one area that the dogs sit, and then at the bottom of the driveway, I think, or something, or around his truck, which his truck is always at the bottom of the driveway. So or it's not always at the bottom of the driveway, but sometimes he parks towards the end of the driveway. Could Don have like planted something? I don't know. Yeah, Kia Soul. He said he saw a Kia Soul. You think she was unconscious? That's where Summer was handoff in that location. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Don could have been setting Fred up. The creek and there's like a small bridge, Michelle, like right before Fred's, all the way down at the end of Ben Hill, if I remember correctly. So I don't even know if you would call it really a bridge. It's like this different area in the road or dirt road that goes over just like back trail with Summer where Fred saw her walk back out. What side? That side I rode at 4:30. Dispatch call. Mom went for a walk. I'm trying to remember when Fred said something about Candace walking. That would be very, very, very odd. Unless she drove. I think she would have drove down there. There's no way she would walk down all the way down there, guys. It's far. I would say take all the way down Ben Hill from Dawn and Candace's. If she would have walked it, yeah, I think it's over a mile. But that driveway, just getting down their driveway takes a good. There's no way she walked all the way, unless she was genuinely like a concerned mother. Most of us would, just because we might run into Summer, our child. Even if you're not really a walker, you're still going to get out there. Usually, I mean, most parents, I think, would. I asked Fred about that Brianna tester. I need to find a good picture to send him, but he doesn't know who she is. Jody Sue said, Candace said she called on Jody Sue when kids got hurt. Well, in my opinion, Jody Sue and Candace know what happened to Summer. Yeah, they do. In my opinion, also. Let's listen to this real quick, because this is really interesting.
She went missing every day up to that day. That's what didn't make sense to me. But there's a girl in here that day too that I seen her come in. Yeah, just like Andy and them. He was in here.
Earlier that day,
because I had to move and let him by because I had pulled the blue car and hit my mom's over in the road, and I had the truck parked in the road, edge of the road with the door open, and I had to go move the truck to let him by.
Let Andy by?
Yeah, but what didn't make sense, there's the truck. I mean,
So right there, he says he had to move his car to let Andy by. So that's how he knows and like remembers. Like Fred, it seems to me like the only one being, I don't know, like I know some people think that he could be involved, but I just do not think. I really wish some other people would go down there and talk to him. But I just don't think so, guys. I really don't think so. Like he is, I'm telling you, like the reputation people have put out there for him is so just, I mean, just so completely opposite of who he is as a person. He is, I mean, listen to the words that he uses. Like, I mean, he's just a really very nice guy. Like, really, he is. I mean, I guess if you saw him, you might be like, people might think he looks scary or something, but he's so nice. I mean, and he's so honest. He's the only one that's like been honest about his drug use and stuff like that. Oh, you're welcome, Chase. I went through it the other day, but it wasn't in the video title and people wouldn't have known. I mean, I do think Fred's had some substance. He admitted to it. So it's not that I know he's had some substance abuse issues. But that's another thing that people got him all like screwed up about. Like all of a sudden, just because I guess because where he lives and how he looks, like it has to be meth or something. No, according to him, his downfall is opiates. Complete opposite of what people have been saying. I'm telling you guys, Fred did not have anything to do with Summer's disappearance. I know I mean, I'm not always right about people's I'm not always right about people, and not even close. But there is no freaking way. I just do not believe it. Mm-mm. He loves kids. He's a protector of kids. I really do not believe that. People might find him strange because, I mean, he talks different and he looks, he's just a country guy, but he's actually a very genuine person and tries the best he can to be honest. I purposely, like, I went back there and I've seen him like, 4 times? Went back there 4 times, talked to him, but it was 2 different, you know, 2 in January or 2 or, well, the second time I only talked to Fred once, but I talked to his wife the day before, or the day earlier in the day. And I came back and thankfully he was there. And so nice. I mean, when he messages me, guys, like he tells me, I mean, and it's not in a creepy way, okay? Like, so don't go, it's not. I can tell. You know, he's just like, seems concerned for how I'm doing. He seems very forgiving. He says, you know, love ya. You know, he calls me a friend. It's really, really, and I know I could be biased and stuff, but he just seems like I would be, oh my gosh, I'd probably be pretty devastated if I knew, because, or if he did have something to do with it, because I just can't imagine that would, I mean, I don't. I would love for him to come up here, but he's so shy, guys. And then his wife has such bad anxiety. And the only thing that, and all she does is smoke weed. Brianna's channel was gone. Oh, I was just about to check that too. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to rewind this just a second because this is important. This is so important. And Fred, I mean, to me, Andy's answers are way too vague. He's distancing himself. I don't like that. Every time you mention Dawn or Candace to him, he distances himself and is like, wants to make sure everybody knows he's not friends with them and doesn't really know them, and they're just neighbors. Like, I don't believe him. He doesn't convince me. He doesn't sound convincing. Like a daughter. No, he's actually my age. But, you know, some people think looks older, and some, I don't know, but he just is very friendly guy. He genuinely cares for others and is, very empathetic. All right.
Over in the road, and I had the truck parked in the road, edge of the road with the door open, and I had to go move the truck to let him by.
Let Andy by?
Yeah, but what didn't make sense, there's the truck come in. I was down here working on some junk and stuff, loading and stuff, and the truck went in, and I was trying to wait on it to come back out. I pulled out of the road. Well, he kept staying way back, just sitting like. Now it kind of makes sense, but then it didn't. I just thought they was just waiting on me or something to do what I was doing, just being kind. So I finally I backed all the way down here to this wide spot and turned around. And that's when I went on down Lawrence and started working on the cars and stuff down there. But I cannot think what kind of truck it was or nothing. I just remember it was a dark colored truck. So I can't remember if it. That's what bothers me so bad. I remember everything about that day, but that right there.
And they were past your driveway over here a little bit?
Yeah, they's on past that where the water pump is and facing back out this. So they went up there and turned and come back down to right there. And then I got thinking about it because I went back down here and turned, and then I went down there and started working on their cars. And I didn't even think at the time about that vehicle hadn't even come out yet. And then Andy comes in that little car that they was driving, and one of Jody Sue was still driving there.
Are you talking about that silver car? Because I was asking about that silver car. They had a little silver, because that's on my list of questions.
See, that's when Andy was in that day, with that little silver car.
The day that Summer went, I think.
And then it was like,
Well, Fred seems to remember what Andy was driving that day. That he said specifically, that's what Andy was driving the day Summer went missing. But before that, he says something interesting too. He corrects himself after saying that they drove, and then he said, well, the one that Jody Sue was driving around. Candace was in Arkansas with some friends on one of his shows a couple months ago. Oh, okay. It was Chris McDonough saying. So I know someone Moonshine Girl says, I know someone who said even before Summer went missing, Dawn was mad at Fred because his customers was parking at his driveway around where kids could be. Whose customers? Like, both of them have been called drug dealers. So do you mean Don's customers or Fred's customers? And who was mad? And he was mad. Where the kids could be. There's no way. They are so far from each other. There's no way, like, no matter how you look at it, Don's customers or Fred's customers aren't going to be parking near the other's driveway. They are so far. I mean, they're on the opposite ends of the road, like literally, like complete opposite ends. I'm talking like at least a mile distance. If you use follow the just the road, I bet it's a mile down there. So even if they were Fred's customers, they wouldn't be parking at Don's. There's no way. That is, I mean, it would take them forever with the hill. I mean, the mountains of Tennessee and stuff, a hilly road and windy, and then and if they were Don's customers, they're not going to be parking at Fred's. It's so far. Fred is the only person who has not started a YouTube channel to try to get money from this. I believe him. Yeah, I guess that is true. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. But which one is her in that one picture? I must be Tiffany sent me some pictures of Breonna Tester. And what was interesting in that article that Breonna's mom was interviewed, her mom talked about, like, one of the very first thing that Breonna's mom said about Breonna after she was killed in this quote was about how much Breonna loved children. Maybe she felt like she was saving summer or something. Just like the baby situation. Was it his recent live stream that he answered what car he drove? He said that he couldn't remember what he was driving that day, and that's such bullshit. Tear up Fred. Fred's very likable. Yeah, I mean, some of them would, and some of them go against him just because it's me who talked to him. Don't judge the man because you don't like me. Like, that's not fair. Judge him for what you know to be true of his character and what you believe. Like, don't judge him on the fact that you just dislike me and you want me to so bad. I don't know. Some of these people are just so crazy about, and that's the same thing with Michelle. As like, some people went up against her just because she was, I'm talking about Michelle Bean, because she was on my channel talking about it, and she's the one that is retired from Hawkins County. And I'm only saying that because she mentioned it here in her comments. So this is the lady that was retired from Hawkins County and came up on panel that one day. But yeah, I know there would be people that tear him apart, and he's so it would probably bother him. He seems very, very sensitive, like kind, you know. I wonder why that Breonna tester theory got pushed away so fast. What happened with the baby? Well, she passed away and she was killed, and it's still unsolved. And the baby is back where it's supposed to. The scanner, I couldn't understand either. I listened to it, but here, Breonna Tester was squatting in an apartment next door to someone with the last name related to Pamela. Squatting in an apartment next door. What's that last name? Or when she was killed? Really? Wow. So you think possibly that apartment that she was squatting in, like, could have been like the person who is next to that apartment that do you think could have tipped Breonna off that it was a vacant apartment? Why? What did JLR do? Okay, thank you, Chase. I'll have to look up JLR's videos, see what he's talking about. But I'm going to rewind, continue. I'm going to just rewind just a few seconds.
And in that little car that they was driving, and one of Jody Sue was still driving there.
Are you talking about that silver car? Because I was asking about that silver car. They had a little silver, that's on my list of questions.
See, that's when Andy was in that day, with that little silver car.
The day that Summer went missing?
And then it was like Andy came in when I let Andy by that. Well, this is what happened. It's crazy. That truck come in, and then I was down there working. I had cars partly in the road and trailer and everything, and then
at the end of your drive here?
Yeah, and in my driveway right here. By the time get all that mess kind of straightened up, and I was running short of time, so I just said to head with it, and because I didn't have time to get it unloaded and get to where I need to sell it in time, so I just forgot it, just kind of got it out of the way. Well, I started out back down here to turn. When I do, there's a girl comes in a car, and this truck's still in here at the time, and I can't remember what tag.
And this is
it was out of state tag. I was trying to think what tag it was on it. But it was odd because I never seen that car no more. I seen it come in, and I never did see it go back out, and never seen it no more.
Is this when you were on the way to your mom's up here down to at 167 or 155? Or were you going out of the holler?
No, I was at 165 at the bottom of the hill. I had some junk cars just like this down there.
Oh, okay. So you weren't down here working. You were down there.
I was here at first, and then I went
to your mom.
Here and turned and went on down Mom's. And that steep curve right here where there's a turn.
Yeah, and then
that's where I met that girl in that car. She's a real young like girl. She looked like she probably maybe 18 or 19, what I was figuring, And it is odd that I can't.
Recently, I had been seeing the name Breonna Tester on YouTube in connection with being a Facebook friend of Candace Bly Wells, and that Breonna Tester had kidnapped a child just a couple of weeks after Summer Wells went missing. And as I started to dig around, I wanted to put a face and a story behind the person that was brutally murdered, and her name is Breonna Tester.
So I'm still so sorry because I'm just really stuck in that story. You were just telling me you go by.
That car come in and that truck's still up here. Well, I go on down there. Mom's and Dad's there at Balm Hill. I had
In that trailer that's up on the hill, right? Your mom's? Yeah. Like,
I had an old station wagon there at Balm Hill. Well, I had pulled it out of the brush and stuff there, and I actually had a trailer behind me then trying to get it, go ahead and get it loaded so I could take it next morning. Well, I wasn't thinking at the time about the other vehicles still ain't come out. Well, Andy comes in then, and
while you're at your mom's?
yeah.
So you can
while
see
I'm
her.
still down there working at the road. See, that's all three of them in here then.
So why would Andy come back this way?
And Andy too.
Why would Andy come back this way?
That truck followed Andy back out. It's like Andy come in and got that truck. I took it like, as I look back at it now, it's like that truck was looking for Andy's place or something, and they went up there and turned, and Andy come in to
Could be like, hey, it's back here.
Yeah, that's the way I took it, because they followed him right back out. But it bothers me that my mind's blank about that truck. I know it's a dark colored truck, but I can't tell you. I can't
Did
say whether it's Chevrolet, Ford, or whatnot. That's what drove me crazy.
Did the law enforcement ask you about that too?
Huh?
Did the law enforcement ask you about that truck, or did you?
I told them everything.
Have they?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have.
So that is like, I don't know. Could be, Fred could have been witnessing without, unbeknownst to him, the exchange of Summer in progress, the getaway truck or getaway car. This was at around 3:30. Summer was sick, getting home about a little bit after 3 that day. Andy and Jody Sue's conversation ceased in Messenger about 3:30 to 5:30. So we have Summer that's already, now sick suddenly, where she's passed out, fell asleep from either being so sick or sedated at a time that seems very convenient considering everything that seems to keep going back to 3:30. Dawn goes on a lunch break at 3:30, or some type of break at 3-ish to 3:30-ish, or 3:30 to 4-ish, something like that, or it might have been an hour. I don't know. I do know that he had a break around that time. Candace gets back at 3 with 6 Summer laying asleep in the back. Jody Sue suddenly goes silencing, and Andy's asking, oh, what were you doing or whatever. At 5:30, she said, talking to the kids. I don't know. Then Fred sees Andy at 3:30. We see that's just like something. I want to know, like, those 2 hours, 3:30 to 5:30, are so important. 3 hours 3:30 to 6:30, more like it. But it's like, why she was sedated so she could be handed off easily. And then that way, Candace didn't have to deal with hearing Summer cry because she was being taken by somebody she barely knew or didn't know. This way, like, she would be easier to hand off without causing a scene. Candace wouldn't have to deal with the nightmares of hearing Summer like cry for her, because she's sedated and doesn't know what's going on. There's supposedly a scream at 4:30, right? Or something like that Jerry Sue. I don't believe that at all. First of all, no, I don't believe that unless it was fake. I just don't. Oh, law enforcement confirmed that the girl that was seen in Arkansas was not Summer. So, where did you hear this at? It was not Summer. Right, Marlena, because Fred didn't think anything of it until, till some more things started happening where you seeing Andy and then some girl, That's too bad about the or that's disappointing. They were there and identified the girl. Here, let me change my title to confirmed. Hey, Danny, was that your boyfriend that was in here in the chat earlier under Gamer Guy, or was that just a fake account? He was like spamming like clickbait. I was like, no way is that Danny's boyfriend, but oh, he's Angry Gamer. Oh, okay. Check my email. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I'll probably kind of dampen, or kind of, what's the word? I'm kind of bummed now, I guess. But I mean, I guess I don't think I have an email. I mean, I guess we should have figured, you know, it probably wasn't her, but and not get hopes up, but sorry, I'm trying to. Somebody made an offer on one of my products, and also my email. I was looking to check that, and I don't see anything, unless you're not. Are you John? You're not the John person that emailed me, are you? It has nothing to do with Summer. That's why I was confused. Which email did you send it to my old email or something? Chase? Hold on. I don't see anything there either. All right. So, real quick before I go, because now, that are so honest. How do we know he's a drug dealer, Trumpet Flower? That's never been proven that he's a drug dealer. Ever. He's never even had any dealing charges. He didn't even have a felony until he was 45. What do you mean? Don't put out fake stuff. That's not true. But you're right. People in active addiction do lie. They have to lie to cover for their addiction. But there are people who are in addiction who are overall honest when, you know, as far as things that don't have to do with their addiction. But yeah, you have to lie when you're an addict because you're not going to admit to using, and you're going to say, I'm not, but there are some but I know what you mean. A lot of addicts are liars, or most are. Don referred to him as a dealer. Don's not credible. Don, he was trying to deflect, in my opinion. Okay, so let me pull up these screenshots real quick. I showed them the other day, but it's about the same situation. I talked to Fred for the first time in like a month. And I felt bad because I had not been contacting him back. And, you know, I had talked to him about getting him a phone, and I felt bad that I didn't go through with that and stuff. And also I was just dealing with my own stuff. And so I just, hadn't talked to him for like a month, and I decided to message back, and I said, I said, I feel bad I've been MIA on you guys for the last month. I've been going through a really hard time in my real life, not my YouTube life, and it's kind of put me in a horrible depression and also in a financial bind. I felt bad and avoided telling you guys about the phone because of feeling so bad, because I was always like to do as I say I'm going to do. I want to help you guys. I just can't do the phone right now, but hopefully I'll be able to soon. I've been so sad with my own stuff going on that I didn't want to disappoint you guys. Also, or I didn't want to disappoint you guys also, so I avoided telling you. I'm really sorry that I let you guys down with that. And then he just said, I wish you would just tell the truth. Everything be okay. I can handle it where most people can't. I'm not mad or disappointed. I understand things happen where human things happen in life that we can't control or understand. Sometimes it's life. We live and we learn. We live and learn. It's life. Love you. Hang in there. Hold your head up. Take one day at a time, and everything be okay. Love you. Remember, one day at a time. See, isn't he like so sweet? Like I don't know. He's so, like, to me, comes off naive. So it's so weird to me that so many people have like such this bad feeling about him. Yeah, Donna's also an activist. Yeah. Well, you don't have to believe him, but it's about like, I think most people, when they say, usually what I hear is people say they believe Fred or they believe Fred is the most honest of all the people who have come forward. But that's not saying that he's been completely honest. That's still leaving a little bit of, you know what I mean? I feel like he's been as honest as he can be from what he remembers, but that's just my opinion. I said to him, thank you so much for understanding. I've had a rough few months. I said, hey, were you interviewed by Dawn and Candace's PI? Okay. Hold on. I don't know what just happened. Some of the screenshots now are just not loading. Okay. I think I got it. All right. So I asked him if he was interviewed by Donna Candace's PI because I heard over on Cracking Cases, like, they said, like, that he had been. And I'm like, no. I was like, no, he hasn't. Then I was like, well, maybe. And they were seemed so sure about it that I asked Fred, like, because I was thinking, well, maybe he did talk to Dawn and Candace's PIs, but maybe it was just like a short conversation or something, and he didn't really think of it as an interview. And I don't know. So, because I had already asked him, you know, if he's talked to anybody else, because I was hoping he did, you know, would, or that somebody would go ask him some questions, and so they could get their feelings and perceptions about him, you know. He says no, that he didn't talk to him. I said, some guy named Chris, and I think the girl like Trudy or something. And he said, I've not done any interviews other than yours and probably won't. I don't want to jeopardize the case. I said, that's so strange because Candace and Dawn's PIs claimed they've talked to you. Did you just talk to them for a few minutes or something? He said, no. See, sometimes you have to be like really specific with people because they might like interpret something different than you. You might think something is an interview, but somebody else might not. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to like spell things out for people. And that's why I asked again about, you know, just for a minute or something. He says, no. I said, are you guys doing okay? I've been wondering about you guys. thinking all the time I need a message. Thank you for not being mad at me. Do you know that? Okay. Do you know that Brianna Tester girl? Okay, this is where I asked him about Brianna. This was just the other day. This is earlier in the week, probably Tuesday or something. Do you know that Brianna Tester girl that was friends with Candace who recently was killed? She got in trouble for kidnapping a baby, but she claimed she was saving it. I wonder if she could be that girl you saw that day. I've been dying to ask you, but been too depressed to really do much. If you for sure, I've been dying to ask you, right here, I obviously did not do well with my punctuation and stuff, but so I've been dying to ask you, but been too depressed to really do much. If you for sure saw Andy in that Kia Soul that day, or could it have been Jody Sue or his son Andy Jr. driving it? Sorry for all the questions right now off the jump. He said, I don't know Brianna, and it was Andy 100%. I've freaking asked him several times, more than twice. So this was not just the second time I've asked him about this. I'm like, are you sure? And I said, you hear a voice clip if I send them? Did law enforcement ask you to stop speaking recently or something? Is that why you say you might not interview with anyone? And he said, yes. So you're saying yes, that he could hear voice clips. And he was saying, no, I've not talked to law enforcement. So since I saw Fred in June, he has not talked to law enforcement. But he told me between the period that I had talked to him last before that in January, so January to June, he had talked to law enforcement a few times. He had been in communication with them. He told me actually in that interview that he agreed to record Don in his conversations for law enforcement. And he seemed like afraid to kind of tell me, because he told me in June, and this was not in January. I mean, maybe he was still like recording him and his conversations with Don, but I let him know, like, in this instance, I don't look at it as snitching if he's wearing recording his conversations with a man that has a missing child that many think, are and possibly knows something. And I, let him know it was different. So, but it doesn't look like he's been in communication with law enforcement within the last few months. And maybe that's because Don's in jail and Candace isn't even in the area. And Grandis is in Wisconsin or something. Who is he? I mean, he's not of any use right now, really. And I said, hopefully I'm not bothering you. Are you okay? Like, when I say, are you okay? I mean, like, I think this was the next text. And I was just teasing him, but then I think he got a little offended because I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't know. I better not joke with him about drugs, because a lot of people like try to say he's on meth and, But I said, well, he said, I'm okay. Same old, different day, just another day on creek. And I said, another day on crack. LOL, is that what you said? Or do you mean Beach Creek? He said, no, I don't do crack. And I spelt creek, not crack. I was just joking with them. And I said, ha ha, I'm sorry. I didn't think you did. He said, I'm not high, meaning I can maintain on anything. I believe that too. I believe, from what I've heard, he's always just the same. Like, he's just Fred. I said, do you think it's possible that the truck you saw that day Summer went missing was someone driving Andy's truck? I'm not sure what Andy's truck looks like. Was it odd that Andy was driving the Kia Soul that day? Didn't you say he usually drives a truck? And I said, you've never looked high when I've seen you, and you never smell like alcohol either. And he said, because I'm not, but Andy didn't have a truck at that time. And I said, oh, he said he couldn't remember what he was driving that day. Is this the next one? Oh, he said he couldn't remember what he was driving that day. Something about a truck. I wonder if he meant Jody Sue's mom's truck. I said, have you listened to any of Andy's videos he's done on YouTube? He said he was in the Kia. I didn't see him in a truck that day. He started driving a silver Dodge like 3 days after Summer went missing, when Andy and Jody split up. And then he says, no, I haven't, to if he saw any of Andy's videos on YouTube. So he says that, once again, that he was in the Kia Soul, the silver Kia Soul, the day that Summer went missing. And that he did not see him in a truck the day Summer went missing. And then that 3 days after Summer went missing, he started driving a silver Dodge. So a silver Dodge truck, I'm assuming. And I said, do you know that Becca girl he's with? And he said, no. I said, so Jody Sue and Andy only had one vehicle when Summer went missing. And he said that they drove. I said, was it normal for Andy to drive back there? He said, no, it's not. And that was the end of our conversation. Use meth for pain? I heard somebody one time say they did claim they did crack cocaine for pain. And I'm just like, I don't think so, dude. Meth for pain, that doesn't have any, I mean, I guess if it distracts you from your pain, I suppose. You would think, like, if you had physical pain, meth is something that would speed you up and you want to do stuff. You know, you want to move around. JC tried to push that schizo card. F all that. He ain't crazy, in my opinion. Saying Fred's schizophrenic? I mean, he did mention seeing monkeys, but the monkey thing, like, maybe that's just like kind of like some people believe in Bigfoot, I guess, you know, maybe he truly believes there are monkeys back there. I mean, it sounds like he does believe it. That's the only thing I've heard that he said, since the only time that I was like, is he effing with me? You know what I mean? I never doubted anything like Fred said, never felt like he was like acting weird or responding weird to a certain questions. No, he was like, he loved talking and he was like more than willing. Like, it flowed naturally. He he was not uncomfortable. He was not weird or careful what he said in front of me. He talked about using drugs. He knew I had a YouTube channel. He was so more than willing to talk about the case, and it was nothing like how Andy is about being so careful of what you say. Like, I get it. There are people who go down for things they didn't do. But that's just something to add into how that's just like, another kind of, I guess, coincidence or whatever to add in, just a little thing that makes things even more suspect. But maybe Andy's not like that with law. I don't know. Nobody has tried to talk to him, Darlene. Nobody has tried to talk to Fred. I don't understand. What's going to be so funny? Like, JLR even said that he's scared of him. Like, stop putting that out there. He's not a scary guy at all. Like, yeah, he shot a guy that he was shooting at him several times before he shot back. He's not going to just shoot somebody because they're on his property. Because that's what JLR said. Oh, I don't want him to shoot me if I'm on his property or something. No, he was being shot at. And usually he's going to be right outside in his driveway. So it's really easy to just kind of like, stroll up on him, even though it's all the way back in Ben Hill and nobody goes back there. But usually if you do go down that road, and if he's home, he's going to be outside working on something. So it's pretty easy to just, kind of run into him. Even though on the end of Ben Hill, where nobody goes, but Don B did with Fred Hill. Don did a video with Fred Hill. What? Are you sure? I don't even see. You don't mean Fred Hill, you mean Jackie Dobbs. You mean Jackie Dobbs. Well, Fred, he would have no reason to lie. The only people who have reason to lie are the people who are guilty. Right? So why are all these other ones lying? Fred has not been caught in a lie yet. Like, straight up caught. We could assume some people might think he's lying, but nobody showed any proof of any lies. Was a dead monkey in the car. They forgot about it at the... Yeah, I heard about that. But he says that these were big monkeys. Like wild ones. All right, guys. I got to go. I'm going to be listing product in my store. But thanks for hanging out with me. I probably won't be on tonight again, but I'm sure I will tomorrow. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys later.